Michaela Vernava in the NESN studios along with Nick Goss as the NHL trade deadline is approaching. Nick, I want to talk about some of the rumblings we've been hearing around the league. There were 2 scouts at the Anaheim Ducks game on Wednesday night. Do you think we'll see them buy or sell before the deadline?
The Ducks are definite buyers, and they're in an interesting position because they have a ton of depth on the blue line, and a lot of teams are looking for defensemen. So they're in a unique position where they can deal a defenseman for a forward. I mean, their offense has been struggling all season. They have one of the worst shooting percentages in the league, bottom third in goals scored throughout the season as well. They have some good young depth players, but not a lot of guys with a lot of playoff experience back there. So I think if they could trade a defenseman, maybe a Shea Theodore, Sami Vatanen, if it's a bigger deal, they also maybe trade their first-round pick and get an offensive player, because they're probably going to have to go through the Los Angeles Kings and the Chicago Blackhawks to get to the Stanley Cup final. They came within 1 game last year of getting to the Stanley Cup final, ultimately losing to the Blackhawks in Game 7 on home ice. So I think one more forward could really put them on that elite level with LA and Chicago in the West.
Well, no, the St. Louis Blues will almost definitely clinch a playoff spot, but they do have a lot of players on injured reserve right now. What do they need to do to ensure that their playoff run is successful? Well,
similarly to the Ducks, they need to get a forward. They've had Alex Dean's on injured reserve, Pietrangelo is on injured reserve, 2 guys who really are important to their offensive output. You look at a guy like Jonathan Drouin, maybe Eric Stahl, Christopher Stieg, P.A. Parenteau. You know, a winger or a center can come in and give them a boost offensively. They've had a lot of trouble scoring in the playoffs in the last few years. They're a team that's they're in the Central Division. They're probably going to have to go through Chicago and Dallas, 2 high-scoring teams in the playoffs, and you have to score with those teams to beat them. They're 3-4 goals per game, and right now I don't think the Blues have the horses offensively to compete with that. So if they add another forward, preferably a top 6-1, they could potentially get to the Western Conference Finals, which has been a real hurdle for them in recent seasons.
All right, thanks, Nick. Make sure to keep it on NESN.com for all your NHL news.